Outrun on 64 presents a Playguide and video review. Sit back and enjoy the show.
Hey there, once again, welcome to another Lemon Tube 64 Play Guide and Review. This time we'll be checking out Chevy Chase, developed by PAL Developments and released by hi-tek in 1991. On the title screen we can hear some borderline horrible music and some credits as well, and we can also redefine the keys. Let's press fire. From here the music disappears thankfully, and we can also press F1 to change our car and F3 to change our car colour. The cars are both convertibles, and for this one I'm going to change the car colour to a purple one, and let's press fire and check out the game. As you can see, Chevy Chase is a driving game, and it's a 2.5D driving game. We start off with some trees and some fields as it moves through a forest. And later on we'll find some signs and also some telegraph poles. At this stage the driving is easy going and we have all the time in the world to meander down this road. The opponents are relatively easy and all we have to do is to overtake them as we carry on down full speed, or at least as fast as this car can go. You can see as we're driving along the day turns to night, as well as, well, changing the sky. At least it doesn't actually turn to night. Once we get to dusk it transfers back to morning again, and so the day to night scenario isn't perfectly emulated in this game. Completing stage 1, and each level has a number of stages contained within it which seamlessly move from one stage to another. You can see on the bottom of the screen we have a gear stick, which forward is low gear and back is high gear, and in the centre we can also see a speedo. Entering a shop which does appear at least once every level, we get to upgrade the vehicle. What can we choose? Well, auto gears is pretty easy because we can use our own gears, so we don't really need that. Fuel injection would come in handy, and so let's choose fuel injection in this case. Let's see what difference it makes, and yes, it does increase our speed just that little bit. And I'm not sure if the turbo lasts forever or if it's just a turbo boost like Turbo Outrun. If it's turbo boost then you'll really need a straight road to do that, and the only straight roads in this game are when you go through a tunnel and then it becomes straight. Not much else at the bottom of the screen, but we do have a timer which ticks down, and every time we bump in the game that means that we harm our chances of getting to the next part. And I'm not sure whether the tyres would have made a better difference, but as long as you can avoid the cars and also avoid the side as well, because the side will slow us down just a little bit. We don't really know much about the development of the game, but it was released by hi-tek, who famously got the licenses to lots of Hanna-Barbera cartoons, and the music in this game was credited to Julian Potts, who worked on Yogi's Great Escape, Top Cat, and Roadrunner, not to be confused by the US Gold arcade conversion of Roadrunner, which appeared on the C64. Sound effects wise, we get some screeching of tyres and also a bump when we hit another car, and we also get a very low drone when we have to accelerate from low gear to high gear, much like a Lotus game, but that low drone tends to disappear into the background. We're getting towards the end of the first level, you'll be pleased to know, and we're going through the final forest, hopefully, before we get towards the end of the level. And maybe the car is too slow for its own good, although you can't deny that the frame rates aren't too bad in this game, but you could argue that 1950 Chevy cars were a little slow to begin with. And I'd very much doubt that Chevrolet backed this game, and the very fact that it's called Chevy Chase means it's a joke on the name of the famous comedian, and unfortunately he probably didn't have a single word to say about it either. But they got away with it, and they made a license up from scratch and made up a racing game called Chevy Chase. Unfortunately, as we reach the end of the first level, you're not really chasing anything except for the time limit. At the end we get to see a very nice image of a Chevy Bel Air convertible, a blue one, and that reminds me of the Shot 97 channel. Let's move on to level 2 of this game, and it's the challenge of the desert, and the challenge is to avoid all the cars, because if you bump maybe 6 or 7 cars, then that's your level over, and so the challenge is to not bump anything. You can see on level 2 we have some upgrades, and the car moves slightly quicker, and we'll bump into a shop a little bit later on where we can pick up another one, and hopefully by playing this game enough you can find the best ones. On this level we get some palm trees and some cacti and some rocks as well, and those vary in quality and frequency as we go through the level. We're finding the challenge difficult. Can we do the unthinkable? Can we get through this desert and avoid bumping any other cars? It's a challenge. Can we meet that? Can we strive to reach that unattainable goal? Find ourselves in another shop, and maybe a new bumper would protect us against all these bumps that we're having, and maybe that is a good idea, but with such a slow car, I'm actually choosing to go for the new tyres. Let's see what difference that makes. Games which are kind of slow on the Commodore 64, which definitely don't require the level of concentration that you'd normally get, then maybe this game is good, but unlike Outrun, it behaves more like Lotus. In fact, Lotus 2, where you bounce off the side of the road, and it's rather annoying when that happens to have to speed up all over again. And you can see it tries to rip off Outrun and other things as well, and there is nothing wrong with the game engine and the night and the day and that kind of thing. eagle-eyed viewers will be able to see that even our windscreen is actually transparent. We can see the desert through that and the other cars as well, and that's just another neat trick which is unappreciated in this very low budget game. Soldier on, try and find some excitement out of this. Let's just move on to those scores, and I don't think any magazines reviewed this, I'm not quite sure. But I definitely saw some comments on the Lemon 64 database, and 2 comments gave this 6 out of 10, saying that there was nothing wrong with the game engine, and the sound effects were a bit quiet, but there's nothing wrong with the graphics. If only it was a little bit more livened up with a little something or other to save it being so dull. And the general Lemon 64 score is 4.7, 47%, which gives this an average score of 5 out of 10. Game could have been so much more, but it wasn't, and it could have been a little bit faster, but it wasn't, and maybe if they'd have turned this into a Ferrari it might have been a little bit more appealing. And as we almost get to that line, unfortunately we ran out of time, which fortunately means that I no longer need to play this game. There's my high score, let's enter it in on the keyboard, and Chevy Chase is a complete rip-off of several genres. I'd probably give this a 5 out of 10. It's not amazing, and I'd probably avoid this in favour of better racing games like Outrun Europa. Thanks very much.